All right, everybody, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case over on Rumble. There's plenty of super chats already coming in. We're going to talk about the big news of the day, of course, which is Trump, and more Trump. We also have a couple of other things, though, that we're going to throw in. We're going to talk about Fukushima. They're releasing radioactive water at this very moment. China acting hyperbolically in response to that. Vance is pointing out here, Joe Biden is suing SpaceX right now for not wanting to hire refugees in a business that is currently involved in top-level material for the U.S. government. SpaceX has a partnership with NASA and the U.S. government in general. And also, just for fun, just for shits and giggles, to show how far gone Seattle is, we've got a burglary suspect that decided to start chugging gasoline in the process of him being arrested. So I don't know. There's something in the water, or maybe in the gasoline. Cam2425IA, Clankdom, Mom Fozzie, waiting for Rumble. Just tell us. We love the Hex and Hammers in Lincolnton, North Carolina. And Russ Hanneman says clank. We have some super chats already. Paul, would you clank me? I'd clank me. I'd clank me hard. Goodbye, hot tea. I'm having coffee. Goodbye, hot tea. I'm having coffee. Reformed Sauron. Has anyone checked on Ron Perlman to see if he's okay after the return? I can't see what he posts because he blocked me long ago. He's a pussy. And Paul, today was the first time I ever donated to a campaign. Have any official merch stores made anything with that mugshot yet? If so, mind pinning a link. There is an official store for the Trump campaign actually on his official website, donaldjtrump.com. Billy, good morning, Sticks. I was the first to tag you in the return of God Emperor Trump on X and Twitter. Again, you called straight. He would return. Yes, my prediction did come true. Trump did what he needed to do, which was return to Twitter, post the fucking mugshot, although he could have the other day posted the escalator picture. That would have been just as godly. And now he's making millions of dollars off of campaign merch at this moment. We'll talk about that. G-Phasor, squish that cat. Yeah, she gets squishied all the time. Bayonne 201. Good morning from gay Stowe, Vermont. People told me I was crazy for buying a 99 Camry with 81K. No rust. Runs like a clock. Congratulations to you on your license and new car. Hashtag clank. Hashtag clank nation. Yeah, by the way, the shocks on that Mercedes-Benz are amazing. And here, if you're in a 30 zone in Europe, there are constantly bumps in the road. They have, to keep people from speeding. And it can handle them just fine. It feels like it's different from the average car. The average car goes like thump, thump. With this one, it's like boing, boing. It feels like you're riding on a cloud, actually. And this is an older car, so it must have had new shock absorbers installed at some point. I can't imagine that, over decade-old shock absorbers would perform so well. Mom Fozzie, clanking in Connecticut. Zaria439. Why does the most recognizable face in the world need a mugshot? It's a great pick, though. Looking forward to the merch. Yeah, it's already available. They rolled that out within an hour, I think. Beagle Cake. Happy Friday, boys. Nick Ray 47. You going to make a video regarding Vivek taking money from Soros? I'll look into it further before I do that. Astral said, do you think that Trump just returned to post that and will disappear back to Truth Social for his typical posts? It's possible. There's no guarantee that he becomes a regular poster on Twitter again, although I would say it's a good idea for him to do so. There's no guarantee of that, though. Ashley, the mugshot was a strategic disaster for the Uniparty. They're priming Orange Man to be a Jesus-like martyr. Exactly. Again, we'll be explaining the problems of the deep state's current strategy in a moment. Ozzy's Robots. Insider called Trug's mugshot a supervillain. Lol. I saw that you sent to me. Highleaf 11. How could the left screw up so bad? Trump wanted to have that mugshot, and now he has it. Dude is playing space-level chess. They don't know what the fuck they're fucking with. It's also a memetic image. I explained in my morning video, this is effectively the kind of image that would be similar to Pepe because of irreducible complexity. I'll explain that a little bit later. Dimes Recon B4. You should be nominated as Trump 47 Secretary of Memes Magic. Yeah, I would take the roll up. That would be fun. As long as I can work remotely, of course. There's no chance of me ever relocating to DC. The Patriot Cairo. Mugshot meme mode activated. Love them. The left's heads would cave in if Trump supporters changed all their profile pics to his mugshot. A lot of them already have. Andy Slater drums. How long before they realize what they've done? I think that they're already in panic mode. They already do realize that. The Grizzly 617. Democrats. Will this stop Trump? Pulls the pin of a live hand grenade and holds it inches from their face like Wile E. Coyote cartoon. Yeah, that's basically what happened. Anyway, getting past the super chats for now. We do have, link in the description, the official Donald Trump mugshot. What did Donald decide to do immediately with the mugshot? He did exactly what I said that he should absolutely do, assuming it went public. There was no guarantee that they were going to publicize it. I think under the rules they have to, but as we've seen with the current, indictment gate prosecutions, or rather persecutions, rules are not really being followed, generally speaking. Kudos to them. They made good on their word. They put the mugshot out. What happened within fucking half an hour? Trump slapped it on mugs and t-shirts and things like that and put it on his official campaign website. Then he returned to Twitter in order to post the mugshot, and now there are 1 million likes on that particular post. The Krasensteins are jubilant right now. They're hoping that he comes back to Twitter and at least sporadically posts material so that they can bot it up like they did before getting banned. I guarantee that they will as well, assuming he does that. Mugshot, August 24th, 2023. Election interference. Never surrender. DonaldJTrump.com. Yeah, never surrender seems to be the new slogan of the campaign. It's not just make America great again. It's fucking don't back down. His mugshot, here's my Memetic appraisal of the situation. His mugshot displays a mood, a snapshot in time. And what I think the purpose was, I guarantee that he was practicing. I think the liberals are right. He was practicing in the mirror for this mugshot. It displays a disdain for and a dislike of a system that is corrupt. It's the best possible irreducible way to encapsulate it. Irreducible images that encapsulate meanings that can be infinitely replicated and altered are the ones that go viral the most easily. It's a form of magic. It's a form of changing people's minds, altering their awareness. You can look at this image and you immediately know what it means. In the public's consciousness already, same day, not that many hours later, this image already encapsulates a feeling. The problem for the Uniparty is that feeling is held by the vast majority of Americans, including at least a minority of Democrats. Unless you happen to be at least in the upper middle class, or you're rich, you're in an inner city like Seattle or something, you're well off, and you don't have to pump your own gas, you don't buy your own groceries, Amazon drone delivers them or something. Unless you're in that echelon, or you're on the very, very bottom, you're in the working, middle, marginal, upper middle class, which is 80% of the population, you're not well off. You feel less well off probably in most cases than you did under Donald Trump due to the economy, due to world diplomacy, etc. You were told for years that Donald Trump was an evil orange bastard, but you in your own personal situation, you weren't hurting as much. There are exceptions. There are people on the left, for example, depending on the state that they're in, there might be more limited abortion access or something. So naturally, they're not going to be receptive to that irreducibly complex meme. Irreducible complexity is something that I talked about in Occult Memetics, actually. It was a booklet that I wrote many years ago. In fact, I'll dig it out now while I'm speaking, and I'll post the link in chat. Although I do have another one pinned. I think maybe this one is more related to the current topic. And what I pointed out was about Pepe at the time. And that's that the idea of smugness is, there's really there's no less complex way of actually taking that meaning and showing it to another person. So Smug Pepe became basically the biggest meme of all time, simply because of irreducible complexity. I'm going to post the link in chat right now, cross-platform really quickly before I continue. And that's why why that meme became so widespread. In fact, it's still widespread now. There's a reason for that. I have a feeling that this mugshot will effectively do the same thing. You could call it the smug shot, by the way. And having the mugshot mug is also memetic. I mean, everything is sort of lining up like an once in a 1,000-year constellation at the moment to help Trump. And so people are talking about meme magic again. They definitely should be, because that appears to be what we're dealing with here. Donald Trump just got steroids injected into his campaign. He's going to get a shit ton of money. He's going to get a shit ton of press. He just swatted down the GOP debate's relevancy. What relevancy there was in comparison to him on Tucker is now completely dead. Less than 24 hours later, nobody's talking about anything other than a handful of gaffes or standout moments within the GOP debate. Everything else is Trump. I go to 4chan, half the posts are about Trump. I go to Twitter, 99% of the posts are about Trump. Reddit is having a meltdown over Donald Trump. He's everywhere. It's the kind of attention that he wants. It's the kind of thing that makes him a shit ton of money. It knocks all of his primary opponents on their ass, and it forces them, by the way, to explain to the American people, in a couple of cases at least, why they wouldn't back somebody who's being persecuted so much by the deep state. Let's see. Alexandra Otroska. The moment I saw Trump's tweet, I started wondering how much engagement money he'll make on his own mugshot. Kind of epic. Yeah. Since I think he's got a verified account, will he get a payment from Twitter, by the way, for his epic tweet with 1 million likes on it? That'd be quite a bit of money. He can put that towards some expenses. Blue DeGolier. Hey, Sticks, would you give a shout out to our comedy horror series, Hillbilly Horror Show? Rednecks and indie horror short films done in a white trash Tales from the Crypt. That sounds funny. Josh Palillo. Just like that Trump has won the game. Believe me. Yeah, I think so. I think there's a better than 50-50 chance that he effectively just got reelected, but the liberals don't realize that yet. The Rubicon, Tim Pool's ombudsman. Trumpocalypse incoming. May he destroy my enemies. Chad Harris. As of right now, Trump's Truth Social post has 44K likes versus his ex post having 1 million votes. Yeah, he should get back on Twitter. He doesn't need to tweet every day, but at least the juicy stuff should go cross-platform. Jake Pliskin. Blumph mugshot is like Christmas for goose-stepping commies, but for us clankers, it's like April Fool's Day. The clankening is coming. Simple Logic 90. Sticks, love the cope about his height and weight. Yes, that's the other thing that I wanted to talk about. Donald Trump checks in with Fulton County Jail, and he gives his height and his weight. Apparently, they didn't check it, I guess. Listed as 6'3" and 15 pounds. He's overweight, but he's not obese. Is certainly not morbidly so. For a person in his age, he's relatively healthy. He's not dying of heart disease like the DeSimps were trying to propagandize a few days ago. That's just not realistic. He's of reasonable weight for a person of his height. 6'3" is a little bit taller than me. If I could stand next to Donald Trump in real life, I could tell you whether it was 6'2", 6'3". If he's the same height at 6'2", if he's a hair taller at 6'3". He is not morbidly obese. The problem is that years ago, Donald Trump had more weight. He was at about 235, 240 or something. For a person who's 6'3", that might not be morbidly obese, but it's fairly overweight. And this led to a bunch of cartoons where they exhibit him as basically being spherical. He's the big orange baby. It's like the Trump balloon. It's a sphere. It's a sphere for a reason. The idea is that he's fat and a loudmouth, obnoxious piece of shit. When he then lost 20, 25 pounds and went from maybe marginally obese to just somewhat overweight, like 200 pounds for a 6'3" person would not be particularly overweight. It'd be on the high end of normal. In fact, I don't even think it would be overweight. His BMI would be perfectly acceptable. The problem is that they can't let go of the mythology that they spun. Because if at any point a person with TDS or within the liberal sphere acknowledges, hey, Trump is not massively obese, then they're defending Trump. The cognitive dissonance kicks in. They're not allowed to do that. Their own psychology will police them in their words and actions. They don't even need an outside source to ridicule them for defending evil orange man. How dare you suggest that he's anything other than massively fat? Of course he is. That's what's happening right now. They're having a meltdown. So they say, well, the fact that he was allowed to self-report is totally bogus. Okay, if I walk into a courthouse, let's say that I get charged with disorderly conduct or something. I walk into the jail to surrender myself. They love to use that term as well because it speaks to the concept of fealty, bowing before the system and stuff. Basically, it's a continuous sexual masochism projection that we're seeing from the TDS sufferers right now. This is literally why I wrote Orange Man big. It's the same fucking thing. They're giving me more evidence of the fact that the work that I wrote is not entirely satirical. If I were to say, hey, I'm 7 feet tall, they would say, no, I don't think that you are. You're going to have to go over here and be officially measured. If I said I'm 500 pounds, they're going to say, well, clearly, you skinny hippie, you're not 500 fucking pounds. Get on the fucking scale. If you say, though, hey, I'm 6'3", 250 pounds, and the people there are like, okay, this is roughly ballpark or thereabouts, we're not going to worry about 2 extra or fewer pounds or 1 extra or fewer inches. Not that Trump's really a flight risk. I don't really think at this point he could go anywhere in the world without being recognized. They don't care. And so you saw all of the usual gang of idiots, all of the leftoid TDS sufferers especially, dickering over Trump's weight. I don't believe he's 215. I think he's closer to 230. I saw the other day, what was it? Crooklyn Dad there was saying that his best guess was that he was 6 foot tall and 280 pounds. Well, I think that would be a little bit of a deviation from what we actually know about Trump's height. Now, he may be 6'2" instead of 6'3". I think his driver's license did reflect that. Height is slightly variable. What if you're 6'2.5"? Well, you can make an argument for 6'3". You can make an argument for 6'2". Yeah, it's in the ballpark. Nobody cares. You're 217 pounds. Okay, close enough. Round down to the nearest 5 or something like that. I don't know my exact weight, but if I had to give it, I would say I'm roughly 6'2" and 165 pounds. I'm a fairly skinny dude. It might be 166. It might be 162. Nobody cares. It might be that according to some, depending on the shoes that I'm wearing, I'm 6'1.8" or I'm 6'2.2". Nobody gives a damn about this. The fact that they're hair splitting over this shows their goddamn mental capacity is severely debilitated. They are completely obsessed with this dude, his dick, his height, his weight, how he looks in his mugshot, etc., etc., etc. They're all morons is what they are. The Grizzly 617, Democrats, this will stop Trump. Oh, I already read that one. Damn you. Cam 2425 IA, for the clank, buy a mugshot tee on me. Is the mugshot a Franz Ferdinand moment? Politically speaking, it very well might be. Thank you very much for your $50 donation. I think I've already got it queued up in my card on Donald Trump's official website to buy a shirt and a mug, by the way. I will be getting those. I don't know about shipping to the Netherlands, though. I'll have to look into it. Fraud Squad, do you think Trump will violate his bond? I don't think it'll really matter if he does. What are they going to do? Throw the current frontrunner of the GOP field / former president in a jail cell in a notoriously run-down and corrupt prison? I'm wondering whether they would actually be willing to go that far. I know that they've overstretched over and over beyond anyone's wildest dreams so far. There are some things I don't think that the public would tolerate for very long. Sir Osiris of Liver. Sticks, do you think Vivek is trying to butter up Trump for a VP or cabinet spot, or is he more genuine? I think he's in it for himself. As far as Vivek Ramaswamy goes, I think that, by the way, the Simps are claiming that DeSantis won the debate handily and Ramaswamy made a fool of himself. We'll wait on polling to see whether your surmisation is actually true. Michael Cricklow. If you're a hip-hop fan, you know there's no escaping Tupac mythology. He's a beloved figure despite his flaws. The left just created Tupac 2.0. Yeah, they might have. It is kind of like being like a rapper, a rock star when you think about it. This is someone so far outside of the establishment that it is nonstop, 24/7, single-mindedly bent on persecuting him. That means that people who love liberty and people who like a little bit of chaos both are piling back aboard the Trump train 2016 style. This is not 2020. In my opinion, it's closer to 2016. Ozzy's Robots. The Georgia case was predicated on a false report of the secret recording by the GOP Secretary of State. Normally, this would be dismissed with prejudice ASAP. Yeah, but Orange Man bad, right? D. Statone. Some progressive friends have changed their PFP to Trump. It's the Bernie Mittens meme again, but the left doesn't realize it. True. Maxwell JW. Razorfist had the perfect opinion on Trump's mugshot. It makes him an outlaw, and nobody loves outlaws like Americans. Yes, nobody likes anything better. They like a hero. They really like a fallen hero. He's pointed that out as well. And they really, really like the redemption arc of a fallen hero that rises back up. That's my surmising on this. It would not surprise me if Donald Trump is reelected. even possibly from a goddamn jail cell, more likely house arrest, which would be hilarious. It'd be the best, most American thing ever. Fuck the establishment, throw your middle finger in its face, punch it in the fucking nose a couple times, tell it to fuck off. A vote for Trump is a vote for no confidence in the system. Liberals are constantly howling about how evil the system is. Well, then fucking vote for Donald Trump. You have a chance to insult these people's intelligence. You have a chance to tell them the system ain't functioning. We're tired of it. So liberals should be voting for Donald Trump simply to stiff the system and to tell them to fuck off. It'd be a huge hit to the Democratic neoliberals now, wouldn't it? The leftoids would love a Trump re-election. They should be fucking campaigning for him right now. The Patriot Cairo, I'm putting up a 5'7" canvas up in my waiting room in addition to signs on my door that state for safety reasons, no masks allowed on the premises. Cool. Warshaw Q, could you imagine if Trump didn't post bail, the logistics behind that? Yeah, 200,000 is nothing to him. He made $200,000 in the first fucking minute that his merch dropped with his mugshot on it. He's just fine on money. Blooming Gale says, 199, no comment, thank you very much. Cyberbully, they just released bail bondsman Scott Hall's testimony. Hey, yo! Ozzy's Robots, Trump should have worn a gangster rapper outfit. Yeah, they probably would have made him change out of that if he did, though. Georgie Georgiev, hello, Sticks. I see one huge problem. I love Trump, but the entire EU now sees him as an enemy due to the UA war. I mean, 90%. Even here, where we have a center gov, people say he's a Putin puppet. I think he needs to make things clear with the Ukrainian war. Well, that comes later. Domestic policy is how you get elected, especially in times of economic stress. Ukraine is a back burner issue for most Americans, other than many of them not wanting to send any more money to it. Justin Kaffenberger. I hope the deep state gets fucked for this. First time I've ever donated for a campaign, but he just got my money. Trump 2024. Yeah, I donated to his campaign some time ago. That was the second donation that I've made. I donated some money to Herschel Walker when he ran, realizing that, of course, the rigging was going on and he didn't necessarily have the greatest chance. But I figured, well, it is close to 50-50. You know, maybe he wins by one vote. And my money was the one that got that vote. And I figured I would pitch that at him. Alex Jones, Sticks, are you a fan of Cradle of Filth? Favorite song? Nymphetamine is a great song. Really slaps straight bussin', no cap, for real, for real. Yeah, I like Cradle of Filth, especially now that Danny Filth came out as a log aficionado. Somebody else. Dems will be delusional enough to throw him in jail. Well, they can try. They might find that it's more difficult than they think. Somebody else. Alex Karras. Clink, totally not a Fed. Hail, fellow clankers. Lol. Bloomingdale, comment on DeSantis' Field of Dreams clip from yesterday. He strikes out again. Trump supporters and opponents will be wearing his mugshot merch. Yeah, I'm going to get mugshot merch, and it's going to be fucking hilarious. I don't have any comment on anything that DeSantis does at this point. I'm just going to ignore his existence for the most part. He's become irrelevant as of today, you will know. Steady Eddie 1983. I wonder if Dems are desperate enough to indict Biden in hopes for a rebound in the polls. I wouldn't put it past them. They might try to swap him out for somebody who's not a vegetable at this point. Iggy the Incubus. Did you catch that Vivek is in favor of the inheritance tax? I DM'd you the story. I have not seen that DM, but I'll take a look into that. No, that would be bad. I'm not in favor of inheritance tax. Or any other taxes for that matter. Alan Smithy, thank Trump for making Jeff Tiedrick relevant again. Yo, he's going to have a field day. And Iggy the Incubus again, didn't Trump have a good enough position on Ukraine in the CNN town hall? I want people to stop dying. Yeah, that was, he basically, he ticks every mark on foreign policy. He actually got things done. Most of these others have never been involved in foreign policy. Daniel, how long till he gets Elon's endorsement? Once DeSantis drops out, I suspect. The Grizzly. Soon the season of Spooktember will begin and the Halloween decorations will rise from their garage graves. I can't wait for Halloween. Swamp Donkey. I'm surprised they aren't talking about his dick size. Lol. Yeah, right now they're talking about his gut size more. At some point, I'm sure that they'll go back to his penis. David Hunter. Made my first 2024 donation to Trump. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of first-time donations as of the last 24 hours. It doesn't surprise me. So yeah, they're dickering over his height and weight. He has returned to Twitter, although we don't know that he'll actively post. I hope he does. I don't know whether to expect that or not. I'm just optimistic. I'm hopeful that at least there will be some posts there, because Truth Social is an echo chamber. It's a useful site. It allows Trump to speak freely. He had no choice but to create such a site when he was banned on Twitter, because that was his main stomping grounds. He was banned from all these other sites too. But now it's outlived its usefulness as far as being a political bully pulpit. And then, of course, we've got his mugshot, which is literally all anyone is talking about at the moment. I mean, I could just ignore these other news stories and just ramble about Trump, but there are a couple of other things I found interesting in the news cycle. So, BW, it was safe to be a conservative in America up until a few years ago. With BRICS going on, do you think that we are losing our ability to force stuff down foreigners' throats, so they brought it home to us? BRICS is not necessarily growing. That's number one. BRICS has extended invitations to other countries to sign on, one of which is Argentina, which may be about to have an anarcho-capitalist actually as their main leader. I am skeptical as to whether any of the nations will actually join BRICS. It's possible for any of them. It's not particularly likely, specifically Argentina and Egypt. It's unlikely. A couple of them might. That's entirely possible. They might grab a couple of countries aboard. It's still a small currency union compared to the Western Bloc in general. And of course, if Argentina does get its ANCAP leader, he's pledging to switch the actual currency of Argentina to the US dollar. You could do worse. The US dollar is still the soundest money in the world as far as fiat currency, although we've got some economic issues that we need to work out. Our problem isn't any foreign group. It's our own government. Red Z. Everything is tied to Obama's covert Ukrainian ops. Yeah, to an extent. Anyway, next news story, because I just find this fucking hilarious. China voices fears of a real-life Godzilla as radioactive water from Fukushima nuclear plant begins being released into the sea. Here's the problem. TEPCO, I've been talking about Fukushima for years, since the Fukushima disaster first happened. Major nuclear disaster, could have been averted, but they were fucking moronic about it. Huge amount of radioactive release, probably underestimated, actually, in my opinion. Nuclear monitors were quickly changed to not go off because the amount of radiation hitting the west coast of Canada and the US would have triggered those nuclear alarms, actually, and people would have been frightened out of their goddamn minds. There was funny business going on, like the corium dripped through the containment unit, probably. We never really got closure on that. And then they start pumping it full of water. There was one point at which some of the pumps failed and they had an issue. That was a couple of years later. The whole thing could have been avoided. Building a nuclear plant with a fairly low seawall, by the way, right on the shore near a major seismic zone is probably not something that a wise person would do. TEPCO is not wise. That being said, you cannot indefinitely store enormous amounts of water on site. You will run out of the ability to even at some point get the water back out, pump it back out, and have anywhere to put it. What do you expect? All of Japan eventually is filled with tanks of mildly radioactive water that has been treated, by the way, anyway. This water has been partially filtrated. It is no longer particularly radioactive. You're talking mainly about tritium and a few other things that are in this material. You're diluting it into the Pacific Ocean. It's not going to cause the fish to glow in the dark. At this point, many years later, the radioactivity level naturally will slowly decay. There will always be a chunk of corium there. There will always be some fuel rods in the ruined reactors there. They'll always have to be cooled through the usage of water. At this point, there's not enough radioactivity left to really pose a threat to humans. I mean, if somebody were fishing directly offshore, like a half a mile away while they were pumping water out, there could be a problem. You probably wouldn't want to swim in it like in the little bay outside of the reactor system. My big concern with Fukushima has nothing to do with China's hyperbolic take. It'd be a life Godzilla. Like, they're even being serious about that. It's not about that. That's not what I'm concerned of. I'm no longer concerned about the corium dripping through and going China mode into the center of the earth and blowing up or anything like that. What I am concerned about is another tsunami hitting the area and knocking out all of the infrastructure there. If it can happen before, it can happen again. There's still nuclear material there. It will take decades and decades for them to effectively fully contain the site. And in that period, you are vulnerable. They can raise the seawall if they want. They don't necessarily raise it high enough. Instead of, what was it, an 8.9, I think before, it could be a 9.7 earthquake and completely destroy the entire area, TEPCO's containment systems at all. It's entirely possible that happens. Right now, they need generators in order to freeze the soil around the nuclear reactor itself to prevent the seepage of nuclear material into, for example, soil outside of the site. Well, yeah, those generators go off if you have another major earthquake and resulting tsunami. By the way, please send no more super chats. I will be keeping it slightly short today because I have no choice. I've actually got to go out. Our daughter has a scheduled appointment later, and so I don't have too long. Ozzy's robots, as traditions and norms are trashed, GOP does zero. Some of them do. Rand Paul does. Trump does. Massey does. There are still some standouts there. Rhinell, hey Sticks, I set a drone world speed record, and now I've got Ukrainian wanting me to make them drones. I hope that that's actually true. That would be hilarious. Well, how much are they willing to pay? You know, you strike while the iron's hot. Georgie Georgiev, Trump will be reelected unless they again fuck up. This is why I'm going straight to the UA war. For EU, it is huge, and for me too. I bet for you living in the Netherlands, you can see the signs. No? Yeah. The Ukrainian war is definitely on people's minds, absolutely. And yes, I hope that Trump is reelected. I think that his mugshot helps him in that department. The Agal faces, Resident Zombie and Anton, 0 charges. Drumpf, 68.68 charges. This is as criminal as not having Sticks Fumo plushies. Are you going to redeem yourself? There will never be plushies. The plushies are a lie. Zeranks, if Trump wins, his mugshot merch should say, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. That'd be funny. Ozzy's robots. Godzilla woke up due to nuclear testing in 1954. You can see vintage Godzilla toys, pinball, and original movie posters at my museum. Hashtag Bellotta collection. Intriguing. The Patriot Cairo. CNN anchors are complete and utter drones, short-circuiting, trying to reconcile and cope for why Trump's approval polls keep rising and DeSimps tanking. True. Cole Ross. Tritiated water and xenon gas legal to release in the U.S. Yeah, this has been massively diluted anyway. So the amount of radiation that you're talking about, even if they spilled it all into the goddamn bay now, it's inconsequential. It's not going to do anything. It was a concern years ago. Everything's been diluted down at that site now, and there's nowhere else to put it. You don't really have another choice. Steve C. telling chat to not send super chats. Whatever. Yeah, I mean, I have no other choice because I got things that I have no choice but to do. I like money, but I also like having a little bit of time to myself. Swamp Donkey, DeSantis is a guy who eats spaghetti with his hands. Allegedly, he does. Although, you know, little kids do that too. It's sort of the same mental level, I suppose, mental maturity. The Grizzly, oh no, there goes Tokyo. They say he's got to go, 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 Godzilla. Hopefully he stomps on Beijing and fights King Hong Kong over there. Yeah, bringing a real-life Godzilla out of the ocean. What's not to like about that? Just make sure to use mind control rays on it or something. Get Mothra to lead it over to China. It can stomp around Beijing. King of Biltong, good morning from Antons in Roanoke, Texas. Free shipping for your Biltong using code STICKS on antonsusa.com and landofbiltong.com. The tumblers will be in later today if you want to mention hashtag Clake Nation. Yes, there will be some merch available. Although there's already one merch link in the description, we're also going to be working with Anton's, both in his store and online, for tumblers, mugs, and I don't know, possibly other stuff. I don't know. Alan Smithy, Trump to be indicted for aggravated jaywalking. Yeah. Joe Hoffman, Wom to all. Hope to have a great day. Clank on. Morse Apple was a boiler water reactor, and the corpse were cited for the location of their emergency backup power. True, by the way. The water is super low, Curie level before background's rad levels, and the water has great shielding. Yeah, but then J.D. Vance pointing this out, Joe Biden is suing SpaceX for only hiring American citizens as opposed to hiring refugees and illegal aliens. I'm just throwing that in there really, really quick here. I just wanted to get that out of the way because it is an interesting story. I'm thinking I'll elaborate more on it tomorrow and keep this stream very short. Because, I mean, all anyone wants to talk about is Trump right now anyway. Is there really anything else on anyone else's mind? And then we've got one last story. I had to throw this in. Seattle police arrest burglary suspect found chugging gasoline in victim's garage, body cam video shows. And Seattle's having a real one. Seattle police breach door of home to protect teen girl inside alone. If you go to the live version of this, you can get that up above. I've got the archive link in the description. You can see the video itself, and it's surreal. I mean, they're breaking the window of this car to drag the burglary, well, not really suspect. He's clearly at least a trespasser out. And he just starts chugging a jerry can of gasoline. It's not entirely clear why. It's like, I guess maybe he's like, is he gasoline addicted or something like it? Can you even get addicted? I mean, wouldn't you die? I don't think you'd die from drinking a little bit of gasoline. I think your body would process it, but it'd probably make you vomit. But if you're just straight up chugging it like it's, vodka or something like that. A burglary suspect in Seattle was found guzzling gasoline inside the garage of a victim after officers broke through the home's front door to protect a 17-year-old girl who was alone inside, authorities say Wednesday. Should have owned a gun. He wouldn't have had to bother. The father of the teen called 911 around 11:30 a.m. Friday to report that his daughter alerted him about a man with a wooden stick trying to break into their home in the 8400 block of 5th Avenue Southwest, Seattle police said. When officers arrived, the teen was so afraid to answer the door and let them inside, according to the department. When officers heard loud banging noises coming from inside, the police said they busted through the front door out of fear for the life safety of the teen girl and began a search. By the way, professional cops, they actually did their job. And this is important. And this is in Seattle. That's actually slightly surprising. Surprised they didn't shoot her and then say that the other dude was the victim. Officers found the suspect first inside the homeowner's car parked in the garage. The suspect was seen holding a gas can and a hammer in his lap. Footage from an officer-worn body cam shows the suspect refusing to obey commands to exit the vehicle and instead beginning to drink from the gas can. The suspect chugged gasoline as officers, the Seattle man is going to become a new meme, yelled multiple commands for him to leave the car, the video shows. The officers then broke the driver's side window and pulled the man from the driver's seat. And so it's unclear exactly why this man decided to break in solely for the purpose of sitting in the fucking car and drinking gas. But this is Seattle we're talking about, so he might have been on some sort of other substance. Maybe he thought that the gasoline was water because he was so high. It's Seattle. It's entirely possible. Let's see. X says, I want a mugshot glass. Help! Yes, it's the smug mug. It's the mugshot. Grudgy, what are your thoughts on Zionism and Israel? I have no problem with Israel, other than their particular state policy towards their general neighborhood. As far as Zionism, I obviously oppose it in the expansionist sense that converge in on the imperialistic, because then people start drawing different borders about where they want to reside. That's been my feeling for a number of years. I'm not Team Israel or Team Palestine. I think everyone should just shut the fuck up, calm down, and go farm their olives. You got cool food in the region. Why don't you get together for like a joint picnic along your border and stop shooting each other? I know that sounds a little bit Yoko Ono-ish and naive, but wouldn't it actually be a better world if people could figure out a different way to get along with each other other than constantly invading and killing one another? RS3 to cool guy. Remember, Sticks, don't be Rama. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go offline. I thank you to the over 5,000 people who tuned in live. Again, this is a little bit of a short live stream out of necessity because of my schedule. It's 2:37 local, so I do need to go offline. I would stay longer. I'm thinking maybe I'll do like a longer-ish live stream on Monday because I'm sure that there'll be more Trump news by then. There's going to be a Trump meme roundup. Maybe I'll round up like the top 100 Trump mugshot memes, collate them over to the side and organize them somehow, and then do a screen share so you can see all of the fun. But yeah, keep to making those memes. They are irreducibly complex, and therefore they are highly, highly effective. It's a form of chaos magic, actually. And chaos is indeed what we have in the current U.S. political system. In closing, of course, again, links in the description to all sorts of other cool shit. Probably going to make a Substack at some point about the Trump mugshot, too. Go to the Tarl Warwick books blogs or something. Pick yourself up a couple of books. Then pick yourself up a Trump mug. Make sure that you go to donaldjtrump.com. That is the only official page for their campaign merch. I've seen people putting their own Shopifys and stuff like that up. Those pieces of merch do not donate to Donald Trump and his re-election bid. That's about all. Peace out.